I have American citizenship, so that would be, by definition, I am an American.
Yes, I do consider myself an American.
Yes, I do.
We're talking about people who are, well, not just necessarily people, but values, culture, people that are essentially related to not only the history of the United States, but also the values and principles that the United States was founded on.
I think that has a lot to do with like personal values. I mean, like if you look at how other countries view Americans, there's just a lot of values that correspond with them, some negative, some positive.
Being an American is simply considering yourself an American.
Okay.
I don't think there are any specific criteria that you have to meet or beliefs that you have to have or attitudes that you have to hold to be an American.
It's an ideal, like Americans tend to have an ideal about themselves as well as about how the country functions as a whole. Like we believe in liberty and certain basic principles that some countries may not agree with, and it's foundational. I think most Americans would have a similar foundational belief system and like how the like principles like government, like democracy, freedom, no oppression. But outside of those basic principles, that's when you're going to start to split as to the definition of an American.
I would still say that they're based on what was written in our Constitution, or rather, I think the preamble, but I'm not sure to be honest, which is we all have 3 essential rights, which is life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
It's a very subjective thing, and I think that there are people throughout the world who could think of themselves as Americans, even if they don't physically live here. And I think America is basically a place where you can think what you want and have whatever attitudes and opinions you want, and if you feel that that's something that's important to you, then you can be an American.
Nature of values is change. Change happens.
As time goes through, we shift our views, and something that was considered once an American idea that's okay for an American to do, so to speak, now it's be very anti-Americanist, so to speak. Like today, if you supported slavery, most people would say that's very un-American. If you supported, discrimination of some kind or another, like very heavy discrimination, like killing somebody over something like that, that'd be considered very American. But that's different than necessarily opposing them, because that's also very American, is to allowed to have different ideas, because that's what America is based on, is freedom. But once you start crossing a line with like actions, it can become there's a very fine line, but it's very possible to become very un-American in certain aspects.
I think that to a lot of people there have been, but the story of America also is the changing of those values. So, for example, the Supreme Court itself and the entire political system for at least a century in the United States told you that if you were not white, you were not fully American. So to me, truly being an American is being a person who rejects, in some cases, the set of values that is the dominant set of values at any given time. If you accept them, that's fine, but if you don't accept them, that's fine too. So to me, the story of America is the story of changing values, and no absolute values that determine what makes someone an American. And that's why I say I don't think there is some sort of objective way to define what it means to be an American.